Hello and good morning. Holly Shields here, live from 𝐊𝐴N studio in Sydney, and you're watching The Early Trade, a show where we share with you a glimpse of the Australian share market opening trade scene, along with the global and domestic drivers triggering the market momentum. In our first segment of the day, we'll have a look at how the early morning trades panned out, taking cues from Wall Street action overnight. Then in the second segment, we'll be looking at prominent newsmakers grabbing the headlines during the early trade hours. Then this will bring us to the third and final segment of the show, where we'll be looking at the movements seen in crude oil, gold and metal indices. While the domestic market opens lower, dragged by mining stocks amid a weaker gold and copper price. The ASX 200 opened 0.57% lower on Friday, after rising 0.6% in the previous session. Carsales.com, Fletcher Building, Pinnacle Investment Management Group and Tabcorp Holdings are a few shares going ex-dividend on Friday. For those of you who are not aware of what ex-dividend means, it's a stock that's trading without the value of the next dividend payment, as ex-dividend date is the day of the stock starting trading without its next dividend payment. The top gainers of the day whereas the bottom performing stocks are Afterpay, Redbubble, WiseTech Global, PointsBet Holdings, Altium, and the bottom performing stocks are Iris, Fortescue Metals, Mineral Resources, Whitehaven Coal and St. Barbara. Now to Wall Street, the Dow Jones fell 0.2%, while the S&P 500 dropped 0.15% and the Nasdaq rose 0.1% as well. US stocks traded in negative territory, and rising US Treasury yields pressured the market-leading tech stocks. Global investors who've been pulling into China in recent years are now bracing for one of its greatest falls due to concerns over indebted property giant China Evergrande. On the other hand, retail sales rose in the US in August, as US investors are awaiting next week's Federal Reserve meeting to get hints about when the Fed will start to taper its stimulus. Moving on now to the second segment, let's quickly look at the highlights of the prominent ASX shares under the spotlight during the early trades. Well, the first company on our radar today is Decimal Group, offering diverse ranges of services to Australian infrastructure and a resource industry. Has won $88.7 million in contract from the Victorian government for the Barwon Heads Road project. The share price of Decimal Group was trading lower during the opening trades at 37 cents. And the next company is financial services software company Iris, which said EQT was not able to finalize a takeover deal valuing Iris at $15.91 per share. EQT's chairman of the Asia Pacific, Thomas von Koch, said that they weren't able to sufficiently confirm their investment hypothesis. And the share price of Domain Holdings was trading lower during the opening trade at $12.33. Moving on now to the next company, Swift Media, a diversified telecommunications and content solutions provider, has appointed Brian Mangano as new chief executive, replacing Pippa Leary. According to management, it makes sense to have a Western Australia-based chief executive to transition to the servicing of the mining industry. And the share price of Domain Holdings was trading lower during the opening trade at 0.022 cents. Meanwhile, cloud-based people management platform Intel HR Limited has successfully completed an $11.5 million placement at 23 cents a share. The proceeds from the placement will be used towards continued investment in expanding Intel HR's global integrations and referral partnership channels. The share price of Intel HR was trading lower at 26 cents. And the next company is one of Australia's leading allied healthcare businesses, Healthier Limited, which has entered into an agreement to acquire Rothwell Physiotherapy, a physiotherapy business which is expected to contribute additional revenue and EBITDA of $2.13 million and $360,000 respectively to Healthier. The share price of the company was trading lower during the opening trades at $1.98. Now we've reached the final leg of our show. Let's have a look at the movements seen in bond yields, crude oil, gold and metals indices. Starting with the bond yields now, and the yield on 10-year Treasury notes was up 1.33% following strong retail sales in the US. In the currency space, the dollar index rose 0.44%, and crude oil prices remained mixed as the easing threat of a storm in the US exerted pressure on prices. Brent crude ended 0.3%, while WTI finished unchanged at 72.61 US a barrel. Energy stocks like Woodside Petroleum were trading lower during the early trades, whereas Santos edged lower as well during the early trades on Friday last week. Moving on now to the futures and commodities space, the strong data sent safe haven gold down nearly 3%, as spot gold fell a similar 2.3%, while US gold futures fell 2.27% as well. And ASX listed gold stocks like Northern Star Resources were seen in the red during the early trades, while Newcrest Mining was also trading lower during the opening trades on Friday. Well, that's just about all for now on the early morning trades, but stay tuned with 𝐊𝐴N TV as we have many more shows lined up for you today, sharing live updates across economies, markets and sectors.